Brothers and sisters, this will be the second video on our program today, or on this extraordinary session, where the diagnosis and the in-depth analysis are focusing on the proximity of the Gambia to CASAMANCE through FONI. Therefore, Gambia's position could be that one that can transform a volatile area into an area where production can be guaranteed. Now, before we ended the first video, we remember his words, which means the spokesperson of the MFDC in this video, who was being interviewed by the Senegalese journalist and lecturer, Abdou Nkiling Jatta. He said, we quote again, "If one is courageous enough to start a war, one should equally be courageous enough to start a peace process." Now, by looking or by analyzing that side of his speech, let us see what we can deduce out of that. Words that should be analyzed, of course, decoded and deciphered from a purely objective angle. Now, remaining reasonable, rational and objective can be a good springboard for development, or for developing on the analytical side and strategic side of things. Let me repeat that. Remaining reasonable, rational, and strategic. Well, especially by taking into consideration the words of Abdou Nkiling Jatta in respect of what we quoted earlier on, could be a good springboard for developing on the analytical and the strategic side of things. Abdou Nkiling Jatta's responses and advances may sound or appear simplistic or dismissive or even comedy-like in certain instances, but deep down they are signaling something else. Well, that is the usefulness of analysis, and that is what is expected of analysts, to see beyond what many would see. Now, let us stretch our minds into the abstract world of the unsaid. Therefore, meet Abdou Nkiling's soul and spirit in that abstract world, to be able to decode what he was saying. Well, Abdou is no fool. Be very careful of seeing such people as retarded, psychologically unstable. No. Abdou is very smart. Let's accept. You see, one of the virtues of any fighter is not to underrate your adversary. Many people lose wars because they underrate their adversaries through wishful thinking. You have to respect the talent of your adversary to be able to fight back or neutralize them or agree with them on a common ground. Because at the end of the day, winning does not always mean killing. It can also mean agreeing with the other party after understanding exactly what affects them, or where you misunderstand them. Because the moment you understand what affects them, you can convince them to come out of that shell. Yes. Okay? He is talking to the average Senegalese here, and the average Gambian, and others elsewhere, by justifying their movement's position. One must be guided by objectivity and rationality and being reasonable to be able to analyze positions like this. He is doing so by remaining steady and funny. Okay? Then look at it in this way. After understanding that he is talking to the average Senegalese and the Gambian or others elsewhere, by justifying their movements, position. He is doing so, and why is he doing so? He is doing so to attract sympathy alongside sharing contents of their mission and vision in simple language. Yeah, in simple language. In simple language. Now, mark you, he has succeeded during this interview, whether one agrees with it or not, he has, into presenting the MFDC's image as that one of victims of aggression. Who is the aggressor here? For them, in their minds, is the Senegalese state. And of course, other parties they are indexing to be the ones backing the Senegalese state. Do we agree with that? Some will say yes, some will say no. But would that change their minds? No. Then you need to come into the mind of the person before you will be able to understand the contents of their mind to be able to convince them or not. Now, he also said that following the death of their leader, the late Abe Jamakun Senghor, 9 years ago, they are yet to have a replacement. Is it that interesting? What one may ask here is this. Why is Jatta hesitating to call Salif Sadio their new leader? Well, doesn't that appear dicey for all of us, outsiders in quotes, including my very self, who over the years have been calling Sadio the MFDC's leader? I think so. It should be a cause for concern. Not for them, but for us. Because we are trying to understand the psyche of the organization. Remember, we are dealing with human beings here. They think, we think. They remember, we remember. They analyze, we analyze. So we must be ready to find a way of entering into the psyche of the particular organization without being emotional about it and without being someone in a position of rejecting everything from them. Because rejecting everything from a party you want to understand to end the war is not one of the best positions. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Let me bring you the second audio visual.